right, we're on day number 19 of our Sober September journey, and it's been a rocky one. It's not been smooth sailing the whole way, but I have learned a lot, and I think I've grown a lot with this challenge that I put on myself. And no matter what happens, I continue to upload every day because that's my obligation to myself and to my viewers, whoever benefits from the videos. It's my obligation to you to continue to track and document this progress. For as long as I can remember, I've always been really, really good at giving advice to people, and many people have come to me for advice. The downside is that I've always not been that good at my own shit. You know, it's like I've given relationship advice. Like, I feel like I'm probably one of the best relationship advice people there is out there. But I've had some relationships where it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? In fact, one of those, it wasn't really a relationship, but I had like a dating scenario pop up. I guess it was about 4 or 5 months into starting my YouTube channel, and it really affected me. And I barely even knew this chick, you know what I'm saying? But like, I let her get in my head. And I think that the more that I grow, the less that's going to be an issue. But nonetheless, I mean, there's probably a good chance that part of the reason I've been steering clear from the dating world for the most part, almost all the way through, is because I know how I've been in the past. I know my tendencies to get like super wrapped up into a relationship real fast because that's just how I've always been. It's like, and I know now with experience that the big issue there is that I haven't fully loved myself. And I think and this does tie into sobriety too. You know, if we don't fully love ourselves, it may not be something that we see on the surface. It may not be, you know, you might not walk around day to day and hating yourself, but at the same time, if you don't fully love yourself, then you're lonely. And that's because you're not content in your own skin. And not to be grim, but in all honesty, at the end of the day, you are by yourself. I mean, even if you have a 50-year relationship, there's a chance that they're going to leave before you do, and then boom, you're back by yourself. So you need to be, we need to be, I need to be comfortable in my own skin by myself and have a good relationship with myself where if I'm by myself in whatever scenario, I'm good. Does that mean that there's no benefit in having a relationship? Not at all. In fact, I look forward to the day that I get into a relationship. But I'm not going to allow that to happen while I'm not ready. I need me to be good. And we are on the path. We are on that path. We are making strides. And I feel like there's a good chance that within the next year I might end up in a relationship. But it's going to be, you know, I still got probably a good 3 or 4 months before I'm like in a much better place than I've ever been. I'm already in a better place, but I'm in like a much better place than I've ever been in terms of my growth, my career path, my spirituality, my love for myself, the whole package. Like, it's going to be a much better place. So that was just a little tangent. Let's get to the update for yesterday. My video, I talked about how I was going out to go with my neighbor to this AA meeting. And I was like, yeah, it sounds good. You know, go to the beach, watch the sunset, and just hang out with some people that are sober. Like, I imagined it in a certain way. So we get there, and it's like this gazebo on the inlet. I mean, it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. Like, you look to the left, and there's boats in the water and all that stuff. But it wasn't like the beach. I was thinking I was going to take my sandals off, walk around on the beach, and just kind of be free. But no, it was like one of those like circular areas where it was like, you know, table, and everybody kind of like sat in a circle, and like, you know, it was a little awkward. And yeah. Anyhow, then while we were waiting for people to show up, this guy shows up and like unfolds this lounge thing and just starts taking a nap. And I'm not saying he's homeless, but he probably doesn't have a home. He has a car, but he just like, you know, I don't think he was there for the meeting. I think he was just taking a nap. And then all of a sudden, all these people are showing up, and we start talking, and you know, there goes your nap time, buddy. You know, I don't know how to say this without coming across in whatever way. I feel for all these people that were there, but I didn't really relate to them because most of them were older, which doesn't mean anything. We're all on the same path, but there was a lot of older people there, and they seemed to be primarily all have like serious addiction problems with a lot of different things, and one of those was alcohol, primarily liquor, from the stories that I heard. And I wish them all guidance and direction. I hope that they all continue. I mean, it's working for them, this AA thing, and it works for a lot of people. I think part of it also is the group, right? Like, you might fit into one AA group, but not another AA group. And I think that was the disconnect for me, was that, like, these people were, like, talking really slow, and they weren't, like, it just wasn't interesting. I don't know if it sounds whatever, but I was trying to be in the moment and stick to like this new Phil mentality of like enjoy the moment, whatever moment you're in. But it was just kind of awkward and uncomfortable. And then someone said, who's at their first AA meeting? So I raised my hand. I regret doing that because then they were like, all right, guys, let's everybody talk about our first AA meeting, so they go around. And there was a couple guys there or a couple people that talked that was interesting, listening to their story. And I was moved by a couple of them. But there was a lot of them that just like, they talked really slow, and God bless them, you know what I mean? Like, they've been through some shit and whatever. And I guess I'm a shitty person for saying this. And I'm trying to I'm doing a whole soul overhaul here in my life right now. And there's a lot of, like I've said many times, woven shit, I'm a very loving person, but I've also been a very judgmental person in my past. And as I'm sitting here talking about it, I kind of feel like a piece of shit a little bit. I'm not gonna stay in that mindset, but like, yeah, I just felt weird. And then there was this one lady there that was like super tall, which is fine, whatever. Super tall lady from New York, and she had some nice hands. I'm just kidding. Sorry for the ladies. I'm serious though, they was nice. But anyhow, she was quiet, didn't say much, but then when she started talking, she was like, seemed like she was on something. Like she was doing like, that sort of movement. And her story was just all over the place, and it sounded like she was on some shit. And it was kind of freaking me out a little bit. And she kept looking at me because everybody was like looking at me because I'm the new guy, And I'm just like, this is really uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And plus it was like, it was going against my schedule. I didn't even think about that, but it started at 8, so it wasn't going to be done until 9. And then because of that, I hadn't ate food yet, so I was going to eat food. So my whole schedule was like out of whack from what I've been normally doing. And I think that continuing to go forward with this whole process, like I just don't need to do anything aside from my rituals. Like I'm just going to stick to my rituals. I'm not going to go out into scenarios because I get thrown off. And I know that I'm making excuses and shit, and I'm sure a lot of you know where this is going. But in any event, as soon as we got in the car, I was like, all right, well, fuck. I'm going to be the guy that goes to his first AA meeting and gets some beer. I know. I fucking know. It's all good. But I'll tell you one thing. Fast forward and then back up. My car broke down again, and it's sitting in a parking lot at the grocery store. And I don't know what the issue is, but the battery wouldn't jump, and like this dude tried to help me jump it off, and there's like smoke and sparks flying everywhere, and we're both like, I've never seen that shit before, and but my mechanic is shut down on after 2 on Saturdays, and they're not open on Sundays, and I don't even know what it's going to be. A buddy of mine said it might be electrical work. I don't fucking know, but it's kind of a shitty scenario. So my buddy came to pick me up, and I went ahead and grabbed some groceries, so I could have some food and shit for today and tomorrow. But you know what, old Phil, in that moment, like, you just spent money on an alternator and got it fixed, and now you're rolling, and now you have more issues. Old Phil would have made sure to include probably 12 to 18 beers in that grocery store visit. I didn't buy any beers. No beers, okay? You guys know I'm real with you. I bought no beers. Does that mean I can excuse myself for the drinks that I had last night? Well, yeah, I am going to excuse myself for the drinks that I had last night because it was a learning lesson. But the big thing here is that the old Phil is changing. I am growing. Normally, I would be drinking right now. I'd probably make some shitty video real quick and be like, all right, guys, fucking it is what it is. I'm going to go drink some beer. See y'all later. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do that. I realized that I knocked myself off center with what I did yesterday. And it's, you know, as I do this video, it's kind of, I'm very introspective about, you know, what happened. But I'm not going to allow it to affect me. I mean, it's trying to affect me. What happened is trying to fuck with me. It's almost like the universe is trying to test me now that I'm going through these awakening moments. And Jack, if you're watching this, maybe you can shed some insight on that. If you think that maybe that's what it is. And if it is, that's fine. You know, I just got to, whatever it is, I just got to push forward. And I can't sit here and marinate on what the worst possible outcome could be for my car. I have to envision what the best possible outcome can be. Because regardless of whether you believe in like the law of attraction or whatever, regardless if you believe in any of that shit, like what's the point in sitting here and stressing? Because obviously stress is bad for us. So, and I know we all know that, but it's like everything that I've seen in my research, it's like if you want to live a good life, just learn how to control your emotions. And it's tough. It's not an easy road. Meditation helps, but it's not an easy road. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep doing what I got to do. And you know what? Regardless of what happens, worst case scenario, which I shouldn't even think about it, but even if it does happen, where for some reason it's some god-awful money to get the car fixed or whatever it is, you know, and I end up without a car, you know what? I got to move forward from that. I mean, whatever happens, if I didn't have this place, if whatever the world throws at me, whatever the universe throws at me, I'm going to continue to train my mind to move back to a good state. It's funny, when I first started listening to Tony Robbins, he would talk about that. He would say, you know, when you get into that negative moment, it's like you got to count down, allow yourself to acknowledge whatever the fuck it is, you know, count down 20 seconds, whatever. Okay, this sucks. This is not a good scenario. Fuck. Okay, fuck. But now I'm going to get back to here. I'm going to get back to like, it's going to be okay. No matter what, it's going to be okay. I still had food today. I'm still vertical. I'm still breathing. I'm still able to witness nature and all its beauty. And I'm still growing. And as long as there's progress, there's happiness. And that's how I'm going to keep moving. That's how I'm going to keep pushing through. So that being said, back to the point of the beer thing. I had a normal amount of beers. I had like 4.5 beers, roughly, whatever. And normal shit. But I was up a little bit later than normal. Way later. Even when I was drinking throughout quarantine, I was still in bed by like fucking 9:30 or 10. And last night I didn't go to bed until like 11:30 or 12 because my whole schedule was out of whack. So we went to go get some food initially at one restaurant when we got back in town to our side of town. She didn't like what was on the menu. I had a beer. And then we went to the next restaurant. I had another beer. And then I bought a couple for when I came back home. I drank the couple when I got back home. Then I ate my food and I went to sleep. But then it fucked up my morning. I woke up later. I was groggy. I missed the sunrise. I just didn't feel good. It wasn't like a massive hangover, but I just felt like, damn it, Phil. You know, but it's a learning lesson. And I'll tell you, today was a huge test. Because if that was not a learning lesson and I was not growing, I'd be drinking right now. Like fucking definitely be drinking right now. I'm not going to because, well, one, I can't drive anywhere. But I went to the store. I had the option to buy beer. And it was in the moment of my car breaking down. I could have very easily done that, but I didn't. So I am growing. I am moving forward. And I'm going to continue to document this process. Whatever the fuck happens, I'm going to continue to document. I know I say some shit like, well, I'm done drinking. I'm not drinking anymore. And then I drank. I allowed myself to get triggered. But one way I'm not going to allow that to happen again is I'm not going to go into a scenario where I could get triggered. Which, in all honesty, involves leaving the house to go anywhere other than to go look at the water, to go watch the sunrise, to go watch the sunset, to go to the store, or to go do something work-related. Aside from that, I'll be fine. Like, as long as I stay in that zone, I'm not going to have any temptations. Continue my meditation practice. I'll be good. I'm going to keep fucking pushing forward. That's it for day 19. You guys have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.
Trust you white in me again. Trust you white. You'll be sorry, but your tears will be too light.